Welcome back to my channel, everyone! Alright, without further ado, let us dive straight into the recap of Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy, Part 62. Alright guys, in the previous part, Makoto shared the method for obtaining a double job with Root and the adventurers of Tsuge. Besides that, there were also several important meetings in Tsuge, ranging from discussions about Kuzunoha's onsen business to merchants trying to use Makoto for their own political interests. So in this video, the story focuses on several important developments after Levi's case begins to be discussed more seriously in Asura. There is a decision regarding Levi's punishment, and then the story moves to the orphanage in Tsuge, starting with the slime farm, a meeting with the merchants from Rotsgard, and plans involving the children at the orphanage. Now, let us continue to part 62. The story begins when Makoto visits the territory of the sea creatures in Asura. Interestingly, Makoto is able to walk normally underwater, as if he is simply walking on land. He can also breathe without any problems, although it has not been explained in detail whether this is because of Makoto's own abilities or because of assistance from the sea creature's skills. The important point is that Makoto can move through the sea without any difficulty. After that, Makoto is guided to the place where Levi is being imprisoned. As shown in the previous video, Levi was detained because she killed Hazal and Ranai. According to Neptunus and Serwhale, who serve as leaders of the sea creatures, Levi developed mental problems after losing a ranking battle, or what could basically be described as a duel. That defeat caused Levi's condition to become increasingly unstable until she eventually attacked Party Toa and Party Birgit. From there, Makoto heads to Levi's location, specifically the underground prison known as Blooming Lily. Here, Makoto asks to meet Levi alone, while the people who escorted him are told to wait outside. When Levi sees Makoto, her face immediately shows deep regret. Levi feels ashamed because she has shown such an ugly side of herself to Makoto. It is also revealed that the Scylla race naturally holds resentment toward humans. Because of that, Levi can lose control whenever she sees humans. On top of that, the hatred inherited by her race became even stronger after she was defeated by Haruka in Laurel. From that point on, Levi's hatred toward humans continued to grow until it eventually led to a very tragic incident. Levi then asks Makoto what kind of punishment she will receive. She believes that she might be sentenced to death for everything she has done. Right now, Levi truly regrets breaking Makoto's order not to kill the adventurers. She feels deeply ashamed of herself for breaking the rules, and now she is ready to accept whatever punishment is given to her. Makoto then explains several things, but essentially, Makoto feels that the death penalty would be too severe for Levi. Makoto also explains that anyone who is killed in Asura can still potentially be revived. Because of that, in Makoto's opinion, sentencing Levi to death would be too excessive. Makoto also says that Levi's case is the first incident of its kind to happen in Asura, so this matter still needs to be discussed further. For now, Makoto cannot make the decision by himself before discussing it with the others. At the same time, Makoto also feels that the reason Levi ended up killing humans is indirectly connected to him. In other words, Levi killed them because of the resentment that developed after her battle against Haruka. Meanwhile, the reason Levi fought Haruka in the first place was because of Makoto's own order. Because of that, after Levi lost, her resentment grew even stronger until she eventually lost control and killed humans. From this, Makoto feels that he also bears some indirect responsibility for what happened. Levi explains that Makoto does not need to regret ordering her to fight Haruka. More importantly, Levi herself does not regret that battle. In fact, because of the resentment that came from it, Levi was able to evolve into the Leviathan race. In the end, Makoto makes it clear that Levi's punishment will be discussed first. Makoto also hopes that Levi will apologize to everyone she has hurt. Actually, the main reason Makoto came there was simply to check Levi's condition. He wanted to make sure whether Levi had truly gone insane or whether she could still think normally. Makoto also deliberately chose not to kill Levi for two reasons. First, Levi had clearly lost control at the time. Second, Makoto wanted to see whether Levi might someday be able to transform into a dragon like Tomoe. After that, the story moves to that night, when Makoto and several high-ranking members of Asura gather to discuss Levi's punishment. From their discussion, it becomes clear that Levi will not receive the death penalty. Instead, she will receive a more ordinary punishment that is still considered reasonable. Eventually, Levi's punishment is decided. She must perform hard labor to help with Asora's development for several years, apologize to everyone involved, just as Makoto had previously told her. And finally, Levi will also be suspended from Asora's ranking battles. Even so, Makoto's decision is not completely accepted by everyone. Some people still disagree, especially Tamaki and Emma. In their eyes, going against Makoto is a serious offense that should receive a much harsher punishment. They do not go as far as saying that Levi should be executed, but at the very least, they believe Levi should be imprisoned for several years. After all, Levi clearly disobeyed Makoto's orders. But Makoto explains that this is the first incident of its kind, and the problem has only just happened. Because of that, Asora's legal system is still not completely clear. So, Levi's punishment this time can be treated as an initial warning for everyone. From now on, the rules will be made much clearer. If a similar incident happens again, the punishment will naturally be far more severe than the decision Makoto made this time. By the way, there is actually an idea in Asora that anyone who ignores Makoto's orders should automatically be considered a criminal and punished. Makoto feels that there is no need for such an idea, and he wants to remove it, but Tomoe and the others refuse to get rid of it. After the long discussion finally ends, Makoto is immediately pulled away by Mio and Tomoe, just as usual. From there, the three of them spend time together until Mio and Tomoe eventually become exhausted first, while Makoto still seems to have plenty of energy left. Not long after that, Mio falls asleep because she is completely exhausted. Meanwhile, Tomoe continues talking casually with Makoto while lying down. They share stories about many things they have experienced together over the years. Their conversation also turns to how deeply Tomoe loves Makoto, and how Makoto sincerely loves both Tomoe and Mio as well. After they talk for quite a while, Mio eventually wakes up because Makoto and Tomoe's conversation can be heard quite clearly. After that, they spend more time together, then continue talking again, before eventually becoming absorbed in the same atmosphere once more. Basically, the three of them stayed up until morning that night. They took turns talking casually, sharing their feelings, and enjoying some private time together. And of course, Tomoe and Mio still could not keep up with Makoto, because even until the very end, Makoto still looked completely fresh and perfectly fine. The next morning, Makoto visits Lime's orphanage in Sige. Around the orphanage, there is a slime farm that was built by Beretta and Toa. The slimes there have become fairly tame because they are being handled directly by Beretta, who is a monster tamer. There are more than 100 slimes on the farm. When Makoto arrives, Beretta and Toa greet him. It is revealed that Beretta is currently teaching the children at the orphanage how to tame slimes. Beretta is also impressed by how quickly the children are able to learn. Here, Toa also tells Makoto about a small problem that happened with the slimes. Earlier, Toa had killed several slimes and stored their cores at home. But when Toa left, those slimes somehow came back to life inside the house, while Rinon was there alone. As a result, a bit of chaos broke out. Fortunately, Dio managed to stop the incident. Even though slimes are not particularly dangerous monsters, something like that is still quite troublesome. After that, Beretta also tells Makoto that Dio will most likely join the military of the Tsuge nation. Hearing this, Makoto starts to suspect that Beretta and Dio actually know each other. Beretta then continues explaining. She says that Dio has always liked protecting other people. Because of that, it is not surprising that Dio eventually chose to become a soldier. Beretta also says that she plans to go with Dio and join the Tsuge military as well. It is also revealed that this slime farm has already received Tomoe's approval. Of course, the purpose of the farm is a good one, because it was created to support the orphanage. At the very least, the slime farm can now become one possible job option for the children once they grow up. Toa then explains that the slimes were not originally around the orphanage. Instead, they became interested in the large tree growing on the rooftop of the orphanage. That tree came from one of the elves who had previously been sealed by Makoto because of the incident involving the kidnapping of the orphanage children. Because Toa, Beretta, and Tomoe noticed that the slimes were attracted to the tree, they decided to take advantage of the situation by creating a slime farm with several different purposes. First, if a slime's core is removed, the slime will not immediately die. Because of that, the slimes can be used to help the orphanage children level up. Second, slimes can also be used as a source of food. As long as they are not completely destroyed, parts of their bodies can still be cut off and used, especially in emergency situations. And third, the orphanage children can also learn how to skin slime monsters from Toa. Hearing this, Makoto becomes a little worried. He can only hope that Toa will teach everything to the children in a gentle way. After all, as we already know, Toa was quite brutal when skinning monsters in the beginning, and she even seemed to enjoy the process a little too much. After Makoto spends some time playing with Toa and the orphanage children together with the slimes, Makoto and Tomoe then go to meet the senior members of the orphanage. The reason is that Makoto already has a scheduled meeting with several merchants. That is the main reason Makoto came to the orphanage. They were going to receive a visit from merchants from Rotsgard, and as the main investor of the orphanage, Makoto naturally had to take part in the meeting. After all, they were not only going to discuss business matters, but also things related to the orphanage and the development of Tsuge itself. Besides discussing business, they also talked about the construction of the orphanage. One of the merchants even delivered a letter that had been entrusted to them by merchants from Rotsgard for the people in Tsuge. The letter explained that they were interested in the orphanage's construction and wanted to study the building system and architectural methods Makoto had used to build it. After reading the letter, Makoto became fairly certain that the information about the architecture had probably come from Izumo. As Makoto's student, Izumo had already done a lot of research and often asked Makoto about many different things. After the meeting ended, Makoto's clients began to leave. Interestingly, perhaps because they had never used an elevator before, the merchants from Rotsgard looked extremely happy when they tried it. One of them even seemed very proud simply because he managed to operate the elevator by himself, even though all he actually did was press the button to go down. After the merchants left, Makoto went back to spending time and playing with the children at the orphanage. For some reason, Makoto has recently seemed to really enjoy spending time with children. While he was there, Makoto remembered Lime's request to move the orphanage children to Asura. Tomoe and Mio actually agreed with Lime's idea as well. The reason is that they rarely get to see Makoto look so relaxed and carefree while playing with the children at the orphanage. Of course, from Tomoe and Mio's perspective, spending time with those children could also be considered practice for when they eventually have children of their own. So that is the recap of part 62 from Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. What do you think? Pretty interesting, right? While Levi's situation is finally beginning to be resolved with a more measured punishment, Makoto once again shows how Asura is slowly reaching a point where it needs clearer rules. At the same time, the development of the orphanage, the slime farm, and the growing interest from the Rotsgard merchants also show that Makoto's influence in Tsuge is continuing to expand. For now, it feels like there is nothing else that needs to be explained, because everything is already leading toward even bigger developments in the next part.